After 8 years living in tiny student rooms and 4 years researching university well-being as a PhD in psychology, I've cracked the code to turning a small space into your productivity paradise.
Hello everyone, I'm Audrey Zane, a psychology PhD researcher and your academic big sister who's been there, done that. On this channel, I combine scientific insights with real student experience to help you navigate university life while prioritizing your well-being. So subscribe if you want evidence-based advice from someone who's walking the same path just a few steps ahead. Also say hi to my new temporary background and my fancy little mic. So this video is a part 2 of how to be productive and happy in your small student room. If you haven't watched the part 1 of the video, I recommend go watching that first. Our first point of the day and the third point of this whole theory is decluttering. This point might sound pretty self-explanatory, but of course I will supply you with scientific evidence. Visual clutter doesn't just take toll on your mentality. So study shows that if you perceive your space as cluttered, you're more likely to feel constantly tired and also exhibit symptoms of depression. And this affects our stress hormone cortisol. Clutter also literally impacts how we visually perceive information. A study by Yale researchers found that visual clutter or crowding affects our ability to identify objects in peripheral vision and reduces information processing efficiency. Furthermore, cluttered spaces also lead to poor decisions. Researchers found that people with chaotic kitchens are more tend to choose unhealthy food, and this is due to they feel they have a lack of control towards their kitchen and their eating area. To put it simply, cluttering literally puts our brain in hell mode for productivity and also for well-being. This is especially important to consider in a small student room for 2 reasons. One, in small spaces, clutters build up much faster because we lack storage spaces. And 2, we are living in an era where it's so easy to buy unnecessary items just because it fits in Pinterest aesthetics, it is trendy on Instagram, or it's just simply been pushed to your For You page and it is on a 10% discount. You get the idea. So our solution is also twofold. First is to reflect and increase on your cleansing, tidying frequency. It is more likely that you will be cleaning and tidying things up more frequently than what you used to be. And second is to be mindful of your purchases. For smaller decorations, for example, this painting behind or the LED behind, think about where you will display them. And for larger furniture pieces, make sure you check up the measurements and make sure they really fit in the space. My personal trick is to leave an item in my online shopping cart for 2 days to a week, just to really sleep on it and decide whether I really need them. And for the next point is physical exercise outside. You might be wondering, but Audrey, isn't the whole point of the video being in my room? I get it, but in a small space, room functions are usually compromised. For example, my room only serves 2 functions, sleep and study. There isn't even enough space for me to lay a yoga mat. However, having a compromised space doesn't mean that your quality of life as a student needs to be compromised as well. So my advice would be make sure that you incorporate daily routines that takes you outside of your rooms. And this allows you to breathe fresh air, see greeneries, and exercise your body for even just 10 minutes. Additionally, I recommend finding a physical activity that you enjoy and do it once or twice a week, or even more if you're more active. For example, I used to go hiking once a week with the university hiking club, and now that I have a climbing gym just 5 minutes away from where I live, I go climbing once or twice a week. And the last point, but certainly not the least, is don't let your space limit your productivity and happiness. This is not a strategy, but more of a mindset, and I put it in the end because it perfectly summarizes the center point I want to convey through my 2 videos. At the end of the day, you want to choose the lifestyle that works best for you, and no single video on the internet will be perfectly tailored for that. If you prefer to study outside in a library or a cafe and use your student room just for unwinding, that's perfectly fine. And if you're like me who prefer to do only deeper and more difficult tasks like data analysis at home, you can of course be productive both outside and at home interchangeably. And don't forget, we all have good days and bad days. Whether it is dealing with periods, receiving less than ideal grade, or simply feeling exhausted, it's normal. So my approach is to build and maintain those habits and strategies I mentioned above on good days and so-so days, and allowing myself to have a break on those really bad days. If you enjoy watching this video on how to create your perfect student space, hit subscribe, like, and also comment below on what other videos on university life you want me to cover, whether it's dealing with exam stress, balancing social life, or perfectionism. My goal now is to read every comment that you leave so that I can improve and build my channel for you guys. Thank you for sticking to here. Merry Christmas, and I'll see you in my next video.